Hello, everyone. Whoa. It's wild. Oh, hi. So, hi. I am Lucy Jongebloed, also known online as Lucy Lavend. And I'm here to do a presentation about how to get more eyes on your game development videos and tutorials. Specifically noting tutorials, because that's what I have the most experience with. So let's start off with taking you back to the year 2011. This is the year that I started my first YouTube channel, and it looked something like this, but a lot worse. The colors on my page were bright red on a black background, and it was not readable. It was horrible. I do kind of miss this old YouTube, the backgrounds, but the colors maybe not that much. This was my first Minecraft video, my first YouTube video in general. I've made a lot of Minecraft videos. Actually, let's get some audience interaction going immediately. Who of you has a Minecraft video on YouTube? Yeah, I could have expected that from a group of game developers. This video was recorded on my little brother's screen. He was playing Minecraft, and I used my camera to film his screen. I'll just give you a scientific diagram of what that looked like. I didn't know what Fraps was, or Bandicam, let alone OBS. Since then, I have had many more YouTube accounts, trying different things, mostly Minecraft-related things. At some point, I tried music. One account was about game development, and that was actually pretty nice. So I started another new channel named Lucy Lavend. And this is my current channel, where I do Godot tutorials. It has a total of 12 videos currently, and sits around 28,000 subscribers. Slowly losing them, because I haven't uploaded in a while. And some of my quote-unquote latest videos have gotten a fair amount of views over the past few years. All hitting over 100k views, which is nuts, right? That's so much. And it feels so satisfying after that whole journey, going from well, that diagram to this. It's so cool. What I want to cover in this presentation is general tips for making YouTube videos, and specifically game development YouTube videos. And I want to zoom in specifically on tutorials, and then I want to talk about devlogs. I will also show you a little bit of detail about my process of how I make YouTube videos, and I want to talk about what happens outside of making YouTube videos, the mental side of things, and the side of marketing. And then I just have a little dump of tips that I have gathered throughout the years. What it won't cover, however, is game trailers. Game trailers are something that is an art form in and of itself. It's something really cool that I would love to get into, but I don't have any experience with that yet. And short form content. While I think it is cool that in short form content you can cover a lot of information in a really short time, and for educational content, that's interesting because you can learn something really quick. But the way they're currently presented in this dopamine slot machine is something that I would rather protest against than partake in. Remember that these are my experiences and opinions. And if you would ask someone like Mr. Beast, what would make a good YouTube video? It would probably have really different answers. All right, let's get started. So you want to make YouTube videos. You're going to need an audience, or else no one will watch your videos. You need to think of who is going to watch your videos. And for example, in my case, I make tutorials and I want to make them for general Godot audience. People who are interested in making games with Godot. For example, this is Lotus. She is a beginner. She wants to try Godot for making a cute, small little RPG with cute graphics. Yeah, she's a big beginner. And on the other side, we have this guy. Let's naming him something random like Raphael. He has lots of experience and is working on a big game with massive cannons and aliens. It's the completely other side. And the main thing that, for my audience, is the big thing that sets them apart is experience. I will come back to that later. Now I want to talk about video structure. I think we can all agree that within the standard formula of a YouTube video is an intro, with sometimes a sponsored segment. Then we have the main content, and we have an outro, sometimes also covering the sponsor again. Let's zoom in on those specific sections. For the intro, first you will introduce the topic, and I can give an example. Currently, I am remaking one of my videos that's about applying forces to rigid bodies in Godot. And it kind of goes like, so you want to make, sorry, I need to, I'm kind of nervous. This is the first time I'm doing a talk in front of this many people. And thank you. It's very sweet for you, of you all to be here. So, you would like to learn how to add forces to rigid bodies in Godot. Well, you've come to the right place. With that sentence, I introduce the topic, and then I expand on it. I give a summary of what we will be doing in that video. In this video, we're going to be having a look at how you can add directional forces, rotational forces, and constant forces within Godot. That expands then, explains it, and okay, so if you have a title in your YouTube video, you promise something. You promise that you will teach that person how to use rigid bodies in Godot. That's just one sentence. Then in the intro, you expand on that promise of what you will be teaching that person. Please keep it short. Some people have the tendency to make it pretty long and add some extra things that, for example, some people apologize. Sorry for not uploading for this and this and this. If you're a new viewer, you've never watched this person before, they don't know who you are, especially not that you've not uploaded for 2 years. Yeah, keep the branding simple. If you have a, intro, those old dubstep intros in front of Minecraft videos? Yeah, no, because that kind of destroys the flow. You have an intro and you want to flow into the video. But if you cut off your voice and then have some music with an intro and then start the video, it's pretty harsh cuts. If you want to add some branding, I would recommend talking over that branding. For example, hi and welcome back to Godot Nodes Explained. Let's get started. There, in that sentence, you have space to add some branding while not taking the viewer out of that flow. And the first couple of seconds is also an indication of quality of your video. Some of you might have seen the Mrs.'s video where he explains that title and thumbnail get people to click. First 3 seconds gets people to stay. Those first 3 seconds, that intro is an indication of quality, and people will use that to judge if they're going to keep watching that video or click away. For the main content, you want to deliver on that promise. So in the title and the intro, you made a promise, and in the main content, you want to actually deliver on what you were going to do. For example, I was going to teach the viewer how to use forces on rigid bodies in Godot. Consider adding chapters. While this is on entertainment videos, less important, it's still important. If I talk about chapters, you might think about adding, what's it called, timestamps to the description, where it's sectioned up into chapters. But you can also do this verbally by what's so-called signposting, where you say, all right, now that we've finished this, let's move on to that sections of that first section, and kind of adds a checkpoint. So that gives the viewer a sense of time and a feeling of progression. Yeah, you actually deliver on your promise. Let's talk about outros. Here you have the room to share your socials. That's at least what most people do. But a lot of people are going to skip that. Most of you, I think, a lot of you, when you hear thank you for the Patreon supporters, and then they start listing Patreon supporters, not a lot of people watch that. Yeah, the people usually mention supporters, Patreon supporters, or follow me on this and this and this social media. Most people skip it. So try to keep it short or make it entertaining. I have a picture there of Veritasium, of which I really like the outros, because they turn that outro into a conclusion of the story that they have in that video. And they usually end with a really good sentence that makes it for a really nice ending. So let's now quickly go over some editing tips to increase the quality of your videos. Learn your J and L cuts. This is a J cut, and an example of a J cut would be this. Do you catch it? It's I started to introduce the next slide, or in a video, the next shot, before I switched to the next shot. As you can see, the green, the audio, starts before the video. You also have L cuts that go the other way. This would be an example of an L cut. It's where I wait a little, or I switch to the next slide before I start talking about it. Silence isn't bad. If you calm down a little and leave some room for the viewer to process everything that's happening, it's like a horror movie. If you constantly keep the tension, then the tension is just becoming monotone, and you need your pauses to calm down a little. Focus point. I want you to look here, and now I want you to look here. I want you to look here and here and here. This is a very big screen, but your computer monitor is closer, so you will still be looking around a lot. This might be weird, but in a lot of videos and tutorials, you would, for example, say, here, look in the inspector. Here, look in the scene view. Here, of this control node that we just added, add a, change the layout. Here, change something in the inspector again. And your eyes keeps darting around on the screen, but it's good to think about where the viewer is looking and guide them a little. For example, you could do that by marking the area, gently marking the area that needs attention, or moving the things with an animation to guide the user's, the watcher's view. And now you are looking at the word here, and there is also the next shot. You match cut to the next shot, and then the information is again at that place where they were previously looking. Next up, let's talk about thumbnails. This is an example of my my latest video, and I want to give you some tips on thumbnails. Make things on a thumbnail big. You want to be able the viewer to read them, even when they're in playlists, even when they're really small. You don't want to add too much text. That becomes hard to read. Don't put too much info on the image. I never mention in the thumbnail that this is Godot. I just assume that the viewer knows it because it's blue and it kind of looks like the output window. But it's in the title, and you don't have to mention what's in the title again in your thumbnail. Think of the duration marker at the bottom. You don't want to add any information at the right, the lower right bottom of the picture, because that's where the timestamp is. And sometimes people put some information there and it gets covered by the timestamp. Add something mysterious? Question mark? I don't know where I added the question mark, but it's something that you add that makes the viewer curious, that makes the viewer want to click on there to figure out what does that mean? What is that? A slight question that can only be answered by watching the video. Like, is that a cat in the output window? Are you sure? Maybe I should watch the video. Add branding, but it isn't necessary. For example, if you look at all of Veritasium's thumbnails, they generally are pretty different from one another. But what you can do is add something that it immediately identifies the thumbnail as one of yours. I tend to add my character in every thumbnail, no exceptions. So people immediately know that it's one of my videos. Use A/B testing. This is a pretty new feature in YouTube, but you can now upload 2 or more, I think only 2 thumbnails, and have them be tested against one another. Some people around the world will see the one thumbnail, the other people will see the other one. And in YouTube Studio, you will be able to see which one performs better. And that way you don't miss any performance in your video. Contrast. Contrast is important. I here boosted the brightness of the critical error, and even saturation boosted my character and all the colors in the image to give that extra contrast. The blue background gives a really nice contrast with the cat image. Something that catches the eye. Yeah, what I've mentioned, don't put things in there that are already in the video title, and test your thumbnails against others in a Photoshop or a preview tool. So take a screenshot of the search results of what kind of videos you want to make, and just Photoshop your thumbnail in there, and then see if it's still the one that gives the most requires the most attention. All right, let's talk about video titles. You want to make a claim and or a promise, like I have mentioned before. I have a screenshot here of again Veritasium videos that very much rely on that that question of what is that? I want to know, but I should click to know. But in tutorials, you promise something like, I will teach you how to add forces to rigid bodies. I also have here that your title should generally be below 60 characters. So it shows up in full length on most mobile devices and PCs. And that's also just easier to read for the viewer. But if you want to add extra info, like I, for example, had on my trench broom Godot tutorial, put that in brackets. That signifies that it's not something they necessarily have to read in order to understand what the video is about. For your videos, just take inspiration from similar videos. Just learn from the others and make it your own. A call to action in a video is please like and subscribe. I already see someone going like, no, these are tricky. Do it when it fits, but please keep it short. When it fits, I mean that it fits into the video content and that you can deliver something. The only time that I've asked for subscribers within one of my videos was when I introduced a topic and then asked the viewer, hey, you could subscribe if you want to see a full tutorial on this. But I don't go, please like and subscribe, without any context. I hate this thing. This thing sucks, especially when the little bell goes ding, 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 ding. No, please. There's nothing that makes me want to subscribe less than that. If you do any call to action, do it during the video. Because like I've mentioned before, if you really have a separate outro, people are just gonna skip that. And no, they just won't listen. Let's talk a bit about audio. Learn your audio effects when you use your voice to do voiceovers. Examples of this would be equalizer, noise suppression, and a gate. So equalizer for taking out, for example, some annoying bass frequencies, making it sound nicer, noise suppression to get rid of that noise from your computer, and then a gate for also getting rid of extra unnecessary sounds in the background. Generally, with this image, this is just a screenshot from OBS, but generally you want your audio to be within the yellow, just above the green, within the yellow. And then when you really scream, it gets into the red, but you don't want it to be too quiet. If you add music to the background of your videos, consider using audio ducking, where the track of the music goes quieter when you talk. So, especially for tutorials, it doesn't get in the way of explaining things. Keep a consistent volume. In the editor, in your video editor, I recommend that you scrub for your video and see if there are any really quiet parts compared to other parts. Generally, just try to keep it within that beginning yellow range. Get a better mic. Some people try to do it with their laptop mics, but they're really not expensive. I recommend this one. This one is really cheap for 49 euros. Pretty nice. And secondhand, you can get really nice quality microphones for a really good price. Okay, this is the fun one. Look into public speaking. And example of this is what you can learn from public speaking. This is what I learned from a YouTube video. Rate of speech. As I talk, I tend to talk a bit faster. Yeah, how do I explain this? I could talk, if I have a rate of speech that is just the same speed as I started the sentence, then it kind of gets monotone after a while. But I tend to talk quicker during information that's not that important. And then when I really want to emphasize something, I slow down to put, yeah, I really want to do this, but then I would smack the microphone. Consider rate of speech based on importance of the information. Volume, you don't want to talk too soft. You could the talking could still be pretty good, but you also don't want it to be too loud. But keep a consistent volume. You can put a little bit more volume in there. A lot of people talk a little bit too quiet, but adding some more volume actually gives a little bit more confidence. Use pitch. Pitch is something that adds a nice flow to things. I could talk and use the same pitch for a lot of things, and then, but if I take something higher and lower, you can put a lot of emphasis on things with pitch. Confidence is a skill you can learn. I was one of the quiet kids in school who never dared to say anything, but I'm still standing here in front of all of you. It's something that you can learn. But it's a skill. It takes time to learn. So if you want to learn it, invest some time. All right, those were the basic YouTube tips. Now I want to talk about tutorials. I want to introduce you to the concept of what I would like to call the edutainment scale. On one side, you have entertainment. On the other side, you have educational content. One side is mostly found through recommendations. The other side is mostly found through YouTube search. Once again, here we have Lotus. If she wants a Godot tutorial, she probably will likely look for something that is a little slower, a little bit more entertaining, and takes her through the basics of learning Godot in a playful manner. But if you have Rafa, who is knees deep into code and wants to figure out if it's an engine bug or not, he wants something that immediately gets to the point and has mostly just educational value and has less entertainment. For the more entertainment side of things, you want to look at SEO. SEO is search engine optimization, and that is optimizing for search engines, for people to find your videos more easily. You can do that by adding keywords in the description that are also describing what you're covering in the video. You want to add an alternate version of your title. For example, my title is going to be how to add forces to rigid bodies in Godot. And then in my description could be, this is a tutorial on how to move physics objects in Godot. It's a completely different phrasing, but covers all the other keywords. Consider adding subtitles as well, because YouTube search is based on metadata or on title and description, but also on what happens during the video. And in technical videos, like Godot tutorials, you mention a lot of technical terms that the auto transcriber usually misinterprets. So consider adding custom subtitles so things are easier to find. And tags. Just tag your videos. It's you can do that while you upload the video. I am going to quickly skip over this one. In tutorials, if you want to show off code, you can consider showing code snippets. Like we have a script on another screen and you copy and paste little bits and pieces, or just have cuts of you programmed a section and then you talk about what you've added. You don't actually show the typing. You can copy and paste during the video. So in real time, you can have from another file, you can copy and paste sections and explain that. And this also depends on how much experience the viewer has, but you can type in real time. This would then especially be useful to Lotus, for example, who wants to follow along in real time. But if you have a Rafael, he would likely just like to go to the GitHub page and grab the code from there. Keep your tutorials interesting. Shake it up a little bit. I really like this recent Brachy's tutorial where he just went into the forest. It's a tutorial in which he talks about environment lighting, and then he just goes into the environment. It's going the extra mile, and it adds that like extra bit of fun and changes up the scenery to keep the viewer engaged and to refresh that focus. I want to cover a little bit about AI, but it kind of sucks that us as tutorial creators lost a fair chunk of audience because a lot of beginners and people who have more experience just go on an AI and then ask it, yo, explain this to me. And then they get a personalized explanation. That sucks. Because what are we going to do then? Benjamin, Heartbeast, recently made a video that he's taking a break from YouTube. And that hurt. Because he's the one that got me into Godot. He's the one that uploaded those how to make Pong in Godot 2 videos back then that first introduced me to it. And now he is stepping back because robots are taking over his job. But what we can do as real humans is show our own tips and experiences. So if you talk about your project during a video or tutorial, you can bring up things that you ran into, issues that came up, and for example, show something like, hey, this is something that might also come up, and this is how you should solve this issue. And just be yourself. That's the thing you have, the thing we have. We have our own personality, and that's why people come to YouTube and your channel, to be there for you. Let's switch over to devlogs. I'm going to go through this a little quicker because I don't have all that much time left. I don't have that much experience, if at all, with creating devlogs. So I asked my good friend Game Endeavor. Game Endeavor is someone who has a YouTube channel on which he creates devlogs about his game Zoe and the Cursed Dreamer. He has been working on that for multiple years and also been creating tutorials for that. Or well, he started with tutorials, but he's also been making devlogs about that. I'm quickly gonna drink something because I can hear my voice cracking. I asked him some questions. Some questions about devlogs. Should devlog episodes be numbered, or should each video be their own thing? To which he answered, standalone videos generally work better for YouTube because most people don't watch your devlogs in a set order. They watch them in order of the algorithm that recommends them. If you have small episodic series, then you may want to number them, otherwise keep your content free-flowing. For devlogs, I asked him, how would you recommend people to show code in devlogs, if at all? Devlogs are an art of balancing general audience with those who are interested in learning game development. Some people are interested in code, but many aren't. If you're going to show code in your devlogs, it should be kept brief. Those interested can pause the video and dissect as needed, or join Patreon for the good stuff, smiley face. That's his explanation on that. I am quickly skipping over this one. Then he has 3 tips for making devlogs on YouTube. The number 1 rule of making devlogs is click-through rate. If nobody is clicking your thumbnails, then YouTube isn't going to show them. It doesn't matter how good the video is, the title and thumbnail is more important than the video. This is quite a statement, but it is true. Okay, so CTR, click-through rate, is the impressions. So how many times a video shows up on someone's recommended feed over how many people click on there. And that times 100. That gives you a percentage. For example, YouTube shows your video 100 times to people, and then 5 people click on it. Then you have a 5% click-through rate. Always be improving. Study your analytics. See what areas need to be improved. Are people leaving your video too early? Look at the audience retention and try to find out why. Nobody is clicking your thumbnails. Put one next to your competition and ask yourself if you would click. There's always something that you could be doing better. Here he mentions audience retention. This is an example of one of my videos. It's a graph where you can see over time where people are dropping off and where people skip to. Here you can see a little bump there. That is just after the intro. So that's where the tutorial starts. This is my latest video. This is a more entertainment-focused video. And you can see that it also helps that it's shorter. But in entertainment videos, the audience retention is generally way better because they don't have to use their brain that much. And here it quickly drops off because people watch the intro and then understand, oh, shoot, I'm going to learn something. Do I want to learn this right now? Maybe not. I'll watch it later. And they never do, maybe. So that's why the quick drop off in the graph. I'm going to skip this one real quick. I do want to thank Game Endeavor very much. He's a good friend of mine, and he recently released a demo for his game called Zoinid Cursed Dreamer. The demo is in itch.io. Go play it. It's very nice. Let's see, how much time do I have left? Okay. So, my process. Quickly, let's talk about the software that I use. I use Obsidian for planning. I use Blender for 3D animation, character modeling, and designing my sets. I also made a custom Blender add-on, well, a couple of Blender add-ons to help me improve the workflow. I made an add-on, for example, for lip syncing that takes the mouth shape and matches that on a sprite sheet. I have been looking into integrating Cascadeur into my animation workflow, which is a really nice animation software. It's really powerful, and it has some features that are not in Blender, and it's built from the ground up for animation. I played around it with a fair bit, but since the whole AI thing, the boom of that, they have been acting different, like some other companies. I will see if I keep using that. And of course, OBS for recording. I use Isotope RX to clean up my voice audio, to get rid of breath sounds and what I just did. Those sounds, you can get rid of that with that software. Then I use Affinity Photo and Designer for creating thumbnails and diagrams in my YouTube videos. For video editing, I used to use HitFilm Express, but they got bought and ruined. So now I use DaVinci Resolve, which is frankly much better. Though companies getting bought and then ruined is something that I'm scared of with the Affinity Suite. So I'm still on Affinity Designer 2. And of course Godot, because I don't know what else I would film then. For planning, I use OBS, and I am very chaotic. I just dump a big checklist into a file and try to go through it that way. I just have it in my head. I try to dump it on there and then order it. I keep working on it until I have something that works. So I first plan my video, not very neatly. Then I do a rough voiceover throughout the whole video. I also throw in placeholder graphics and recordings. I quickly hop into OBS, record something in Godot. It doesn't matter if it sucks. the idea is to make a quick sketch of the entire video from beginning to end to get an idea of, to see if your video idea works or not. It's basically just rapid prototyping, but then for videos. Then if that's nice, if it works, then I do a rough edit. I do some cuts, I add some more images, I add some music maybe. And then I do a view session with a friend. I show it to someone else and try to get feedback on how well it works. And I try to re-implement that feedback and redo most of the recordings because they're kind of just a sketch. This is going to be the line art. So I redo the recordings and I start my animations in Blender. And once I have everything in the line art phase, it's the time to color it in and do the shading like with drawing. For the polishing pass, going over everything from the visuals to the audio, polishing it up with, for example, with Isotope RX, going over it. I tend to do that completely at the end. I watch it one more time before I upload to see if I made any mistakes. I've done it before where I didn't do that, and then when you upload it and you have to quickly take it back down again because you notice a mistake, that's not nice. Outside of making videos, you want to do marketing to get eyes on your videos. You could get started by sharing it on social media. I would recommend not just going on social media and saying, here's a link to my YouTube video, go watch it. No, take a clip from that YouTube video that's the most interesting and use that on social media and link it. What I did in the beginning of creating my tutorials is that I shared it on Reddit. The subreddit for Godot is a nice place to put your tutorials and get some feedback. Also on the Discord, there's a tutorials channel for tutorials in the official Godot server, and shared also on Discord, other Discord servers that could use it. Get to know other people. I would recommend to join more Discord servers. This is, for example, how I got to know Game Endeavor. I joined his Discord server back in, what was it, 2019, 2018 or so, and we've been friends ever since. So I would recommend joining servers of other content creators. And on social media, try to interact a bit with others and follow them. Maybe they'll follow you back. And you get to know people and learn from them. You could go to conventions like you currently are. Good job. Marketing, sometimes it's just dumb luck. Okay, I want you all to start bidding. How many views do you think these videos have? Raise your hand if you think it's over 100K. Okay, fair bit. Who of you thinks that it's over 500K? Yeah, a little less. 1 million? 2 million? 3 million? 5 million? 10 million? 15 million? No one? One person? Yes. 20 million? No? Oh, yeah, okay. A couple of people. And you're right, this one has 21 million views and the other one has 27 million views. These are by no means, well, they're pretty good tutorials. They're just tutorials. But the YouTube algorithm kind of ran with it and they kind of exploded. Especially if you compare to the other videos on their channels. They have barely over 10K views. Well, Polyfjord has pretty nice tutorials, but I don't know what the algorithm does sometimes. If you want to make money with YouTube, you want to become a YouTube partner. For becoming a YouTube partner, you need 1K subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in the past 19 days, 90 days. This is so you can make money off of ads. It's not much. You're not going to become rich. Like the most I've earned in a month was 80 euros or so. What you instead would like to do is maybe go on Ko-Fi or Patreon or YouTube memberships. That's where you can get more money from directly from the people that want to support you. Be careful though, those platforms can be stressful. I'm speaking of my own experience where I felt a lot of pressure on my shoulders, especially during the times that I wasn't feeling so well mentally and just couldn't make any videos. Those people were still supporting me. Even though they said, no, it's fine, it's okay. I still felt that pressure because they were giving them their hard-earned money while I was just sitting at home not feeling well. So I would recommend to not promise too much. On Patreon, I have a couple of tiers where people get early access to, or I create, for example, sneak peek content and little short videos about certain topics. But those videos in and of itself were already taking that much of my time that I didn't have the energy for anything else. We don't have that much time anymore, but hate comments, just use the hide from channel feature within YouTube Studio. Don't reply to them, even though it's really tempting to say something snarky back. They're just internet creatures. Usually, I've gotten a fair bit of hate comments throughout the years, and they were usually on the videos that caught on the algorithm. Then I dragged in people that were just recommended, but the people who search for your content are generally a lot more are forgiving and nice about your videos. Don't burn yourself out, please. Making YouTube videos can be really stressful, and even when you do it for fun, especially when you do it for fun, then you can have the tendency to dive in there so deep that you don't stop at the end of the day and want to keep going and only realize that you're in a burnout when it's too late. I recommend to use the tools that work well for you. I used Windows Movie Maker for way longer than I would like to admit. Your first video will suck. Accept it. Move on. Honestly, be proud of what you've made. This video kind of sucks. This video, you've seen the diagram, but I am proud of them. Look how far I've come. Don't hate your old videos. You can measure your progress against them. Stick to a niche. You can always expand later. I stick to Godot tutorials, but I want so that my audience can gather, and then I can always expand later. I want to make some tutorials about other software at some point. That can happen. And in the end, it's also an art form. Have fun. Don't take it as a job. If it's becoming too stressful, please keep it a bit down on your videos. It's still supposed to be fun. And yeah, that was it. Thank you all.